a little update on how things have been going, and then we can just open the floor up to questions.
Yeah, I think I've given a lot of updates. Yeah, can I share the screen?
What is that? Oh.
Can I share the screen?
Yeah, 1 second. There you go.
Okay. So I think one of the updates that I wanted to show you, this encode controller for the order. So we had these two little helpers that allow us to encode this data field, the legacy. And now, so you're calling that and you're passing the data here. The V2 data we talked about, it supports like two different types of oh, it's actually not really precise here. I need to talk to the team about that. So you can pass along with the order the origin fees for your marketplace, for your product, to receive the parts of the proceedings. I think that's really important for some of us here who wants to sell something on Rarible. You can pass along this array of origin fees, and that would build an order for you with the data encoded properly in these two fields. And the same happens with beneficiary. So beneficiary is also this array of parts, like here. So you can specify how many, which part of the proceedings would go to somebody. Like, for example, if you're selling the order created with multiple creators, you can put that up into the order structure, and creator would receive the respectful amounts. So that's one tiny update for now. We're mostly doing our protocol infrastructure on the backend. That's what we've done. I think you all, like, Evgeny spoke here the last week. Is that right?
Yeah, he gave some updates.
So he gave some updates. I think most of the updates are infrastructural now. As I said yesterday on the community call, our top priority right now is to drag Rarible.com to the Rarible protocol infrastructure.
It's just drag and drop, right? Like that's.
Yeah, exactly. To our devs heads. And I don't think we have much else on the protocol update side for today. So I'd love to hear your questions, progress, and stuff like that.
So for MintGate, we're currently testing with the 1155 version of the contract, template of the contract. We're deploying our own, but I'm basically taking the protocol contracts and just updating the base URI so that we are able to support where we're holding our metadata. I've been having some difficulty testing on Ropsten just because it's been kind of inconsistent with like exceeding gas block sizes. But Rinkeby has been no problems at all for testing. See, what I need to test today to ensure is that if we want to mint, that's kind of the first deliverable we want, is just minting just straight up on our platform and making sure that the tokens minted are follow the schema and the proper like structure, so that they are they integrate easily into the Rarible marketplace. And when we add the marketplace features, integrate those in the next stage of our development. So what I wanted to test, and maybe you can kind of confirm for me, is the token ID is the creator's address and then the series of longer series of numbers that seems to be hashed into a big int. Is that if we were to have our own token ID, which was just like 1, 2, 5, 100, 200, and I removed the requirement statement that like, I guess compared the minter to the, the shifted address that's in the token ID. Would that still be fine for a separate version of Mint if we wanted to just straight up mint and then have this mint and transfer for once we integrate the marketplace? Or yeah, I guess maybe just start there before I keep going, if that makes sense.
Yeah, so Luis, I actually need to check on that. So the reason to have this address in the token ID is actually for the creator of the lazy minted items, because you don't know the lazy mint items yet at all, and you don't have them on chain, and that's why we put the creator addresses into the lazy mint structure. And I need to check it in with the team. So you want to just have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basically IDs.
Yeah. If we weren't going to I want to add like a separate mint function where like if people just want to mint immediately right then and there, they can, and that doesn't use the same schema or the same structure for the token ID. It's just a typical, numerical. Or if they want to do the, buy sell features lazy mint once we add the marketplace integration later, they can do that through the, just how it is right now with mint and transfer.
Okay, so you want to have straight up mint function with the simple token IDs assigned. I think that would work. So nothing that can stop you from actually minting assets on chain and then bringing them like already minted asset to the protocol, because the protocol doesn't depend on the token ID in other cases except for lazy minting. They can
We're thinking of so we have like a kind of a similar system as with yours with the lazy mint. It's a little different though with our gate tokens, where we have like these this off-chain metadata, but it's like integrated with Twitter, so people can transfer these off-chain tokens so that users can then, like, the idea being that they can mint them once they receive them. So what we were considering doing, if for people who wanted to just mint instead of buy and sell, was take the signature. We'll take like a hash, like the token ID that we would generate, just the numerical 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our backend server's private key, and then the creator's public key, and then have the creator sign off on that when they want to enable minting, and then have that signature be a part of the token metadata in the backend, so that anyone who holds one of these off-chain tokens, it checks to make sure they have the signature, they hold the signature to allow for minting. I guess any feedback, if that makes sense, or if that you sound like that sound, I was trying to structure it kind of similar to how you're doing the signature, like approvals right now with lazy mint.
So basically you would have a lazy minted item that just changes hands.
Yeah, the only difference is that like people can just transfer on Twitter and then, someone holds it, as opposed to like, coming to our app and then like claiming it and minting it.
So I guess the only problem with that is that, do you want to implement that yourself?
Yeah, we were going to do that because we have this gate token system that we already developed. It was something that I was interested in, actually kind of, sharing. If, you guys are interested in also using it, we'd be happy to make it available. We're actually doing that right now. We're creating widgets and APIs for this to become available for any partners that we work with. But, that's just kind of like, we wanted to maintain the ability for users to, send these on Twitter and whatever social platforms we end up adding as well.
But how would that work on chain? So it's all the same as lazy minting, right?
It's it's basically the same thing as lazy minting. The only difference is that the creator, once they create these off-chain tokens, they can send them to any Twitter address or Twitter handle, and then that person who received them on Twitter can come and it'll show a balance of off-chain tokens for them to mint.
Yeah, what's the proof that I received that token actually?
Well, I guess it would be just a tweet from the creator that says, hey, you received this, and then you come to MintGate and you see your balance of these tokens that they created, these off-chain tokens, the off-chain metadata.
If you want to mint the token.
Yeah, once they come, then it would be like they can mint like up to the amount that they that the creator has sent them for the off-chain version.
And how would you pass this amount to on-chain?
Well, we would have the 1155 contract already in place, and so when the creator is like creating this off-chain metadata, we would be, assigning the message for them to essentially like save that in the back end, and then I guess they would pass like the supply or the amount, max limit for the amount of tokens that they created.
So basically, anybody who has this message would be able to come to the smart contract and mint the token for themselves.
Yeah, that's the idea.
Yeah, and then, but what if I had it? I was like somebody transferred that to me, and then I transferred that to somebody else, and then I went on chain and minted that because everybody who has a signature can mint that.
Well, if you transferred it to someone else, then you shouldn't have it any longer because your Twitter handle would no longer be associated with the metadata and the signature that we have in the database.
Hey, Luis, sorry to cut in, but have you taken a look at Arweave, what they do with profit sharing tokens? Sounds kind of the similar lines, what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I looked into them briefly like a little over a year ago when they were doing a hackathon, but I haven't looked at them closely since. We're kind of taking this approach with just doing it like, with our own internal system because it's just faster to kind of iterate and get something deployed. But we do want to migrate either to IPFS or Arweave or something like that to make as we move towards more decentralization. But it's just that's a lot more overhead for us right now as far as like, pinning and, getting the integration and maintaining support for that, maintaining potential nodes or clients. So.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's in addition to just file storage, their profit sharing tokens, it sounds very similar. Like you can split things up into multiple tokens and transfer ownership and things like that. So if you want to talk about it offline, we can, but sorry, didn't mean to cut in there.
No, that sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah. Like getting back to that idea, I can't imagine how would that work. I mean, anybody can go on chain and mint an item who has the signature.
Well, anyone who holds the token that has a signature would be able to then interact with the contract to mint for that token ID. But if it was transferred to someone else, then that person would no longer have the ability to mint through that contract any longer.
But you can't pass that information to on-chain that this person don't have the ability. So basically, the contract would only recognize anybody who came with the signature.
Yeah. So when the creator, signs the message for like enable minting of their token, then we would that's when we would like send it to the smart contract to essentially like have this be the associated signature that someone needs to hold or needs to be passed in the data that we're sending to the function, and then require that that's in the data. If it's not, then they can't mint, revert.
So if I transfer that to somebody else, would you need to call the smart contract every time that off-chain transfer happened to change the now to the new owner?
Oh no, it shouldn't be that way because the signature should just be part of the off-chain token metadata. So whoever's account is associated with that, whoever's account holds that on our front end, that's part of the data that we submit. If they don't have the token metadata in there associated to their Twitter handle because they transferred it to someone else, then our database no longer associates it with them. So when they click mint, there just is no signature that is passed to the call to the contract.
Okay. Okay, I click mint, there is a data that is passed. So basically, I should stop having this transfer right as soon as I click mint.
Yeah, once you click mint, and once you click mint, if you have the token, then the off-chain token is like burned. We just remove it, delete it. So
if I click mint and didn't mint it as well, but I already know the signature, I can't send it to anybody else because I will know the signature.
Yeah, but you shouldn't know the signature because we create the signature in the backend in the server. We wouldn't make it available.
Like pass that to the front end. So you'll need to only pass that to the front end once. And then as soon as it passed to the front end, then the token basically is non-transferable anymore. So it's like redeem my token.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, then yeah, that would work. That's actually a nice idea. So it's basically like a lazy minting for anyone who would bring you the signature.
Yeah, we when we talk about it, we basically describe it as like redemption tokens or redemption coupons for like on-chain tokens. So
Yeah,
That'd be cool within Rarible. I mean, I don't know.
yeah,
Sounds
that's
pretty
possible
useful.
and variable.
yeah, no, I've mentioned this to Jonathan and the rest of the team. Like, I think because I've lazy minting was, I was like, this is very similar to what we're doing. So it'd be cool if you guys are interested. We'd be happy to like kind of share it and maybe work together to see if we could like add this to yours or like make it available to you. We're already creating the widgets and APIs to kind of use this system, but I'm happy to talk about that more if you want.
I guess it would make them like more shareable and more social.
Yeah, the idea being that like
event.
you could create like drops for these like off chains. So we already have a feature where you can drop like 10 claims and then you kind of come and then you can just share it.
And like no gas, right? It's just
exactly.
Like,
yeah, it's mainly for like to get more exposure, more adoption. Like you don't need to have a wallet, you don't need to have gas. You still have the token gating at like benefit of the token that like this still gates whatever content the creator wants it to. But then like after if you want, you can migrate or upgrade to the blockchain, which for a lot of Web2 users will be a whole like experience, like transition to getting a wallet that will be required, but it still kind of opens the door to them and it still mitigates the gas fees for a lot of people who are already familiar with Web3.
super cool.
Yeah, that sounds really great. And for the previous question, yeah, I think the longer token ID is only required for lazy mints. And for lazy mints, you can't, we would reject any token without that structure, just because we don't want you to mess up with other people token IDs. Because if I created the lazy minted item with token ID 5, and then you created the lazy minted item with token ID 5, and your token was purchased, and then my token can't be purchased anymore because it won't mint on the purchase. So I need to go and to resign. That's why we divided the spaces to the wallet address, and you can mess up only with your own token IDs.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's why I was thinking of just making a whole separate mint function for just immediate right there, just adding that one function to the current protocol contract that we would use.
Yeah, you can just start incrementing from 0. I don't think there would ever be collision with this long one.
Yeah, I hope not.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for the questions. I think we should pass along to somebody else.
Yeah, I can go if I can. So I'm exploring like the world of lazy minting now, and I was taking a look at your contracts, in particular the lazy version of 1155, and I kind of would like to have a more like in-depth understanding of like who is calling what functions in the contract, at which point. So I suppose that I am like a seller and I never interacted with the platform, and then which is like I know that I have to pay some initial gas, but what functions am I calling in that instance,
Yeah,
and the same for the buyers.
Yeah, you're a seller, you never interacted with the platform, and you want to create an item.
Right.
You don't actually need to call any contract if we are talking about lazy minting.
Right.
So
not even to enter the, nothing?
Yeah, for the lazy minting, you need to assemble the front-end structure for the token.
Okay.
That would have the token URI, metadata URI, all the URIs. Let me show the screen as well. And you need to create the front end. Okay, first of all, we have this little nice website, Rarible.org, that you can find all the links on. Your two main links that you're looking for is API reference and tutorials. And for the API reference, it's api-reference.rarible.com. Here's lazy mint controller. There's create lazy mint. And all you need to do is to pass this structure to our backend. That is contract address that you would have here, contract addresses. So for that's so far for WinKey only. So you need to pass your asset contract address,
Right.
either 1155 or 721. Token ID that you create for your lazy mint item. You can get that one here in the collection controller, generate token ID.
Mm-hmm.
That will give you the token ID, like this string.
Yeah.
Get back to lazy mint controller, token ID. Then URI for your metadata structure that you store it somewhere on Pinata, IPFS, or even locally.
Right.
Then you can specify several creators. If that's only one creator, you can say that would be an array of length of 1, and inside would be the tuple address, and then the value. That would be how much of a share this account has inside this object.
Yeah, in basic points. I know this.
Yeah, only one.
Yeah.
Then royalties, and then you need to pass the signature. And
Yes.
signature is a tricky one. You can find it's here onto the tutorials. Here is this GitHub for the example where there is a code that allows you to create the signature.
Yeah, I read.
Yeah,
I did that when I signed the contract on a test net, on a local net, I mean. So that information goes to the backend, right? And then what happens? So for now, the site, like the seller, did never have to pay any gas, right? Because it's just sending in the info to the backend.
Yeah. Just a second.
Yeah.
So you're signing this structure with the creator address, okay? And that information goes to the backend.
Okay.
And then if you want to buy, and then you can create an order for that item. So again, that lazy mint item lives on the backend now, on our backend, and now you need to sell it. So if you query the item controller, you would be able to find that item, but it lives off chain completely. If you want to sell that item now, you need to create an order for that. An order is the same. You need to create an order on the backend. Order is the sign structure as well. Here's the signature of all this stuff. So you want to sell it. If you want to sell it, that means you want to create a make asset. So make is what you want to give, and take is what you should receive. That's the order structure.
Okay, so for example, make would be like the key. Okay, I see.
Yeah, but you would need to say ERC 721 lazy here actually. Oh, we have some changes here. So yeah, that should work. If that doesn't work, please talk to the team.
Okay. And so that like make specifies what I want to sell essentially, right? And take what I want to be paid in, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me actually write that down, the questions. So order for the lazy mint asset. I can't see in the docs the lazy ERC 721 lazy. Okay.
Okay, you do the order and then?
You pass the contract address here.
Okay.
And the token ID of the item they want to sell.
Right.
And then the take, what do you want to sell for? You want to sell for ETH and value in, I suppose, weight. That makes sense?
Yes. And then when the buyer comes along, what happens?
Then you're signing that with the lazy mint item creator. And when the buyer comes, what he does, he goes here, gets self orders from the protocol, So I want sell orders by item. All right. I go here. I call this contract sell orders by item. I put the contract and token ID here. There is a sort option. Oh, that's something actually new. Nice. And that's optional parameter. And you would receive this structure, the signed sell order for that item.
Okay.
As a buyer, okay? The buyer comes to the front end, and front end gets all the sell orders for that item.
I see.
Then what you need to do is you need to create a buy item. The buy order, not the buy item, buy order. That would be matching to the sell order. So on the front end, for the buyer, you create this this structure, but that would be reversed. I wanna give ETH, and I wanna receive this ERC721, right? As a buyer.
Yeah.
And then I go to exchange contract, and I call the function match orders.
Okay.
And I pass 2 orders here, match orders, order left, order right, and signatures for the orders.
I see.
Payable amount in either if I wanna pay with either.
Right. And so
then, yeah, the contract.
Yeah, I continue. Yeah.
Assets.
So for example, when is the function mint and transfer being called then?
Inside this match order function.
Okay, I see. And can I ask why, like,
Yeah,
do we have to go through the generating order part? Like, couldn't the buyer, for example, call directly mint and transfer? Like, I think probably not, but what would be the problem there?
Again, I missed that.
Yeah. So like once we have our 1155 contract, right?
Yes.
Could the buyer just, like, I don't understand fully why the buyer couldn't go there and call mint and transfer itself. I know it's probably not possible, but I want to understand.
Yeah.
You know,
because you need to buy an item to actually be able to mint it.
Oh, okay.
If anybody would be able to go and call that function and receive the token, that would be like.
I see.
That wouldn't be purchased. That's why that actually is our contract calls that function inside the actual purchase when you paid money.
Okay.
And
Okay. I see.
That seller like requested you in the sell order.
I see. Okay. So basically, the buyer is paying the gas fee in order to interact with your match contract, right?
Yes.
And then the match contract will be responsible for calling all the low-level like mint and transfer details.
Yes.
Okay. So neither the buyer nor the seller do actually anything related to minting, right?
Exactly.
Per se, like it's all, yeah. They interact only through the match system and orders and sales. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Transfer proxy, contracts, lazy mint. Here it calls transfer mint from.
Okay.
Yeah. It's actually not mint and transfer anymore. It's transfer or.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Or
Okay. Yeah.
Just because we've upgraded that, because for the ERC 1155, now we want to be able, like, imagine if the buyer doesn't know if that's a lazy item or not. So if there is something minted already, then that would be just transfer from. But if there is nothing else created yet, then that would be mint.
Right. I see.
So can I ask a follow-up question here? So you said that the seller doesn't pay any gas, but wouldn't they have to pay gas to allow the contract to be an operator in their stead?
Yeah, that's a great question. I just wanted to cover that. So here we have, where do I have them? Contract addresses. So we have 3 more contracts. Exchange contract, that's one that you interact with. Then there is NFT transfer proxy and ERC20 transfer proxy for ERC20 approvals. And there would be one more lazy mint transfer proxy, I guess. Transfer proxy address, add to docs. And yes, you're totally right that you need to call an approval on a general case, but Rarible contracts, they are already pre-approved for Rarible smart contracts exchange.
Okay, so at some point, a user of the platform has done either like a sign up or something similar and has been already approved. Like there had to have been some transaction there that they paid gas for. Right?
No, there is no need to pay gas for, because the contract itself is pre-approved for every item, for every thing to be operated by Rarible Marketplace.
Okay.
Here's this contract, ERC721, and for the Rarible default approval, should say. Yeah, default approval. So default approval, and that would have is approved for all.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Default approval, your C-center. I can't find default approval here.
I think it's either in ERC 721 base or ERC 721 lazy mint.
Yeah, should use. I need to check with the team default approval. Where is default approval? Because default approval is actually different for the Rarible collection and Rarible user collection. And you actually need to fork Rarible user collection. Because in Rarible collection, this default approval is actually like owner can change that default approval. The owner of the contract. So like Rarible DAO would be able to change the default approval. Yeah, but that's not really great to have this default approval for the arbitrary contracts where there is no like governance.
Yeah.
So you created your own like collection, and then you as an owner of contract can default approve that to your own contract, and that would just take everyone assets out. So that's why Rarible default approval is different from Rarible user default approval. And Rarible user default approval is actually only, there should be, you only need to pass these default approvals in the constructor of the contract. So you won't be able to change that only once. When you create a contract, you can set the list of addresses that would have default approval. That's
okay.
complicated. Yeah, I guess that would be nice to have notes about that somewhere. So yeah, the take for it is to create, if you create your own collection for lazy minting, then you need to derive from Rarible user collection. Here's the 721 Rarible user. And that would have the, in the constructor. But again, I need to check how exactly that works. Oh yeah, here it is. You see?
Yeah.
Set approval for all from the operators of the constructor function. Here is the init function for the contract. It's called when you deploy a contract, and you need to pass. The operators. Yeah. you need to pass the operators array here, and they would go for default approval. And you need to pass the Rarible exchange. You need to pass the Rarible. You need to pass the Rarible lazy mint transfer proxy there.
Okay.
So NFT transfer proxy, and for lazy approval, there would be another address. I need to actually go check on them.
Okay, well, maybe you can provide an update once that contract's in there.
Yeah. Okay. I will
And
check.
I don't think you guys are in the Discord, so I'll add you as well, Carlo and Yasuki. I don't know if that, sorry. All right, so just I just want to make sure others have time to ask questions.
Yeah, awesome questions, Carlo.
Yeah, I think this will make we post this to YouTube, so I think it'll be really useful to have that overview and the questions for the lazy mint. So thanks for that.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Yeah, we can set in the YouTube call that it has like the flow. Like we discussed the flow of lazy mint, like exact flow. That's really helpful, Carlo.
Yeah, totally. All right, anyone else? I know there's a few people here building things, so. No more questions? You guys are all good?
I think all of my questions were answered, yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I have a question for, is it Luis?
Yeah.
When you're talking about your lazy minting, are you doing it the signature validation in the smart contract, like the way that Open Zeppelin people were talking about it? If you were part of that conference like a week ago.
I think I was on the call, but I'm still actually testing it to explore whether we're going to do that. Well, we'll do the signature validation, yes, on the smart contract, but the signature construction in the server.
Okay. Yeah, that's how they were talking about doing it. I was thinking
that again? Yeah, sorry. What was the idea of signature construction server?
So yeah, Open Zeppelin had a conference call a couple weeks ago or last week or something where they were talking about doing lazy minting, where basically you have a list of creators or people who are approved to mint on a smart contract, and then they can create sort of a signature. They can sign a ability to like a set of data that allows someone else to create, whoever has this signed set of data, to create a token on their behalf. And then that set of data, that like signed set of key values, you can pass it around to somebody else. And then when they submit that to the smart contract can test the signature to see if it came from one of those approved minters. And then because it has a token ID in it as well, once it's redeemed, it can only be redeemed once because it has the token ID in that key value set as well. So that's I was curious if you're talking about kind of doing that same way.
Yeah, I misunderstood. I wasn't on the Open Zeppelin conference call, but the same idea is something that I've seen Austin Griffith talk about in one of his like streams. So that's where I got the kind of concept for it. But yeah, that's the idea.
Cool. Yeah, it's been floating around. I'm just kind of trying to get my head around it as well.
I think the only thing that so the difference is here that I think, Luis, your idea doesn't include pre-approved addresses. It's anybody
Correct.
who has a signature can mint.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and you need to be extremely careful about this signature to be circulating. At least it showed once to anybody. It's unsafe to show it to somebody else, like a mnemonic key.
Yeah. No, I'm planning on spending this weekend and most of the week testing to make sure. But yeah, no, that's something that I know. But thank you.
Yeah. So it probably makes sense to make that look really explicit. Like you're about to redeem that token, you won't be able to transfer that to anybody. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's really great, guys. Awesome questions.
Yeah. If there's nothing else, we can end early, but countdown 5, 4.
I guess the usual same question is like what's the schedule for the actual like release, and like what's the current status of the it's all working on like the test nets, right?
Yep. So we expect Rarible.com to go onto the protocol in 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks.
Okay.
And that would be the actual like release on. That would be an actual release of all the smart contracts, because Rarible would be obviously using them, and all the rest of the stuff. So, and then a little bit later, we would have the full-blown the protocol release, when we, you see how many learnings do we collect on these calls with you guys. It's super thankful for you building, because that gives us a lot of ideas on how people like actually using the protocol. And I don't know, I can't really imagine somebody to dive to really understand what's going on their own. The protocol is quite complicated. Especially with this, you need to pre-approve the forked Rarible contract for the lazy mint transfer proxy contract. I don't know how can somebody dig that deep on their own.
Yeah.
So if you use like so am I understanding it correctly that if I do all these like lazy minting and put like buy order and sell order on like Rengabai or Robson, do they show up on the like rengabai.rarible.com website today?
No, not yet. That would be like 2-3 weeks when we transfer Rarible.com to the protocol.
Oh, so it's gonna all go live all together with even with the production? I was assuming that it'll come before the production launch.
Yeah, we have quite short release cycles that would appear on Rengabai a couple days before production.
Yeah, I mean, like all I'm looking forward to is like at least like any of the testnet where I can like experiment with the lazy mint API, like lazy minting and sell order and buy order, and then it'll actually show up on the like whichever version of the testnet Rarible website it's on.
Yeah, that would be great as well. But
Is Robson not? It's not working yet.
no, it's because we actually like need to rewrite a lot of Rarible.com code to be able to work on the protocol, the new protocol. And that's why it's not because we already have it on the testnet, but we don't have it on the testnet yet as well. So we will rewrite it on the same time, because we're really pushing that through. There won't be grace period when the testnet is available and prod is not. That would be only like a couple days length.
Okay.
So yeah, you can query the protocol get item functions.
Okay.
That would be actually, I don't know, if somebody's interested, I don't know, whoever, Luis or anybody else would be able to get to the point when you query the actual items from the protocol. You might as well show every other items so the guys can test that out.
Be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can add that on my list and see if I can try that.
Alex, so you mentioned like, you know, Rarible.com is gonna be live on the protocol 2-3 weeks, and then you mentioned like protocol release after that. What do you imagine being like, you know, when are we going to be protocol release ready? And what's needed is like the documentation and like all that.
The documentation is critical. I think the tutorials and documentation is what would keep us from the release of the protocol.
Yeah, I think having some like video tutorials, like exactly like what you went through today on how to do the lazy mint, for example, like a nice, you know, video, and we can have a series on YouTube for different workflows and things like.
Yeah, that would be, I don't know, if somebody is, like you probably guys are all busy with your projects. I have a dream about crowdsourcing that.
Yeah, I know, right? Me too. Yeah, if anyone's interested, happy to help work on a proposal with you and get it through the DAO. I think it'd be super
Yeah.
value add.
I think we can, yeah, that can be super value add for the DAO and be paid activity.
Okay, I'll keep my eyes open for that as well.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone. Good questions today.
That was
Picking
a
up on you too.
question so far, I guess, on all the calls.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you.
Thank you.